Y100.7, I'm Drew here with Bernie Kosar. Thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate you.
Oh, excited to be with you today, Drew.
I am a fan, man. I've been following your career forever. Die-hard fan. Catch me up on life. What are we doing these days?
Well, tell you, life is really good, and it's awesome to be here on EDM Week and Ultra Week down here, and then coming from the U with an awesome sports and entertainment conference that was going on.
Which, by the way, a huge season we're coming off of as well.
Huge year. I mean, we're loving wanting to be the national champs, but as far as getting to the national championship game and kind of surprising some people as a lower seat to get in and do that, I think we're establishing that we're going to be back with that.
It's all about the U.
It's all about the U.
I mean, listen, we almost didn't even get into the playoffs. I mean, you know, we were teetering the line of even getting in. So the fact that we went so far was absolutely incredible. And just what a run. Miami got behind the UM, and it was just an absolute...
It brought back the old days of seeing the U back and the energy, the excitement, you know, the being on the map as the top team. And again, we want to win. You want to win everything you do. Of
course.
But again, to barely get into the playoff series and then make it to the finals like that. I mean, you can see now that people have established the U is back.
Of course. What was that like for you, though, being so deeply rooted with University of Miami in your career? What was that like seeing them back to, you know, get to the game?
Not to get overly spiritual or overly deep on you, but it's a guy who was diagnosed 9 years ago with 5 years left of cognitive brain function. I couldn't say cognitive. I couldn't enunciate, articulate, communicate any multiple syllable words.
Wow.
I was diagnosed in the last few years as early stage dementia with Parkinsonian symptoms. Okay, and 4 months ago, I had a liver transplant. So to have the Canes having that awesome year like that was massively therapeutic for a distraction for me.
Absolutely.
To be able to do that. But to be able to follow the Canes as you're going through those type things was inspirational and actually probably very therapeutic to some of the surgeries that I was going through.
I'm sure. And you're doing incredible things with the University of Miami. Talk about therapy and all the things that you're involved with the U.
So I love it. I'm so proud. Thank you for asking. You know, the University of Miami in football is what gets me in the door, gets me on shows like this. But as a challenged guy, I mean, I've had over 100 surgeries, 100 broken bones, north of 100 concussions, had 15 seizures. The last 2, I was in a coma for 72 and 96 hours. So from the late 90s, I didn't really do pills or drink a ton when I played. But post all the surgeries, I ended up, I'm super embarrassed, not proud to say, but being scripted for north of 100 pills a day for most of this century.
Wow.
So the last 3 decades to figure out, Jimmy Johnson had an awesome line. Before we went out to every game, Drew, he would say, somehow, some way, figure out a way to make a play to win the game. I didn't know that was laying the seeds within me to somehow, some way, I had to figure out a way to stay alive. And I really went down the holistic regenerative path. And in thesis at the University of Miami and the great medical school, I really learned an amazing amount of things with stem cells, exosomes, amniotic fluid to naturally really reduce the inflammation and do healing. And one of the things here, today's March 27th, okay? It's the end of the month. As a guy who's a pretend extrovert, Drew, is really introverted, closer to the spectrum, you can't lead football players by saying that. But deep down, you have multiple personalities. As a man having a little bit of anxiety and being closer to the spectrum, you say that today, and you say that back 20 years ago, automatically your Adderall's, Vyvanse, scripted for ADHD meds. I made a bad mistake for myself and for my family and kids. So when I was 37, my daughter was 12, getting ready to go to Ultra. And, you know, people are giving us saying they got to do, they got depression, ADHD, you got to do Adderall and Vyvanse. Well, that was a tragic problem for me personally and my family. So now I obsess with, again, Jimmy Johnson. Somehow, some way, figured out a way to find replacements to be here with you. And it's the end of the month, so many of us would be out of our scripts by the end of the month. I'd have to be shaking you down. Drew, what do you got in your pocket? 7 out of 10 pills are laced with fentanyl. Please stay away from that. So you're playing Russian roulette. So what I do is I come up with some products and a lifestyle that helps you get by when you don't have those your scripts.
That's interesting. You know, I was diagnosed with ADHD at 12 years old, and I was on Ritalin at that time, you know?
Yes.
And it was a nightmare for me, especially at that age, being on Ritalin and then Kosar after that, and then Adderall, and it was just absolutely terrible. And I've managed my ADHD a lot better now, but it's
and for the parents out there and for the young men and women who that's happened to, we're not blaming anybody, okay? We've gotten smarter with technology. We've gotten smarter with medicine and stuff. But if you were scripted on that stuff while your brain is developing, and I believe your brain is developing up until the age of 25.
Yeah.
But as an adult, we say 21. It absolutely alters
100%.
some of the issues. And this changes, unfortunately, the unintended consequence of your personality and my daughter. So we made that same mistake. So I don't want to see the next generation of parents making the same mistakes that I made for some of my kids. And I'm not proud to talk about it, but I really believe I was saved. And it's almost a responsibility of me to come clean.
It's inspirational. We appreciate what you're doing. I think it's absolutely incredible. I want to ask you about the Dolphins this year. You mentioned liking Tua as a person. Obviously, Tua is off the Dolphins now. How do you think the Dolphins are going to be moving forward?
So I was one of the guys that I liked Tua, and I liked the coaching staff. I really liked the coaching staff last year. But in the NFL, the great Jerry Glanville used to say, NFL is not for long. So we all get fired. We all get cut. It's not fun with it. But how you handle adversity is really how you are as a people. In football, never give up, always get off the ground. That kind of resides within me. I actually really like what the Dolphins are doing by moving Green Bay south, you know, with the coach, the front office, and Malik. Okay, it was just a tough year in the draft for quarterbacks.
Right.
Okay, there wasn't a ton out in the free agents. So I think the Dolphins, with cap issues, have really done a nice job under a duressful, tough situation.
Does Malik start, you think?
You have to.
You have to.
I would have to with them. And I think with the running and the way the NFL offense is morphing, Malik's a man. I mean, that body and that ability to run and incorporate it into a better offensive line, those running backs, a running quarterback, that wasn't my forte, but the young people don't remember that, so I don't have to have too much more of the truth serum on that.
Well, even at that time, though, quarterbacks weren't running like they are now, you know? And when you were playing ball, you didn't need to run, right? You had a line that
Well, you didn't really want to run because late hits were allowed.
Right.
Okay, so, you know, cold cock and body shots, you know, I was a regular on some of those shows about, like, the big hits and stuff. So I'm proud to be, truthfully, it sounds cocky. I say it as levity, but I'm really proud to be alive.
Yeah.
I mean, because it was kill or be killed back in the day, and people go, oh, I wish the game didn't change. Do you miss it? Do you wish it was like that? No. I don't want to see you young kids getting pummeled like I did. You don't need to have no back teeth. Mothers, have your kids wear mouthpieces. Hockey players in the 80s and 70s don't have front teeth. University of Miami quarterbacks, we don't have our back teeth because didn't wear a mouthpiece. I talked so much that I got my jaw broken 20 times.
Crazy.
So, like a gun, yes.
Wild.
Thank God this is radio, huh? I don't want to show you.
Man, I love what you're doing, and thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us a little bit, man. And I'm such a huge fan of yours.
Okay, so I always tell people, and I know it's predominant down here in Miami, I say you matter, okay? And it's because of the you, but also more than that. Self-confidence and self-esteem is such an issue. When you look at people and you look them in the eye, especially younger people, and you tell them you matter, that gives you self-confidence and self-esteem, and give people hope. Don't break them down, because when you give them hope, they're better people.
I love that, man. I love that. I love your message. We appreciate you so much.
Thanks, Drew. You matter, brother.
Thank you.